What we're going to be doing now, I want to just give you a brief overview on antibody safety, species selection, and introduction to surrogate approaches in development of monoclonal antibodies. The first couple of slides I have changed. It's a little bit different from what you have there, my apology. But this slide is going to be available at the link that's going to be provided to you later. So it's a majority of the slides I'm going to go over is published. So some of them is in Drug Discovery Today, 2007. There's an article that we published a long while ago. The article itself, well, it's about 80% outdated, but there are still certain points in there that holds true after a while. And that has to do with the mechanisms for monoclonal antibody toxicities. What is holding true still today is really target-related toxicities. The type of toxicities that you see with monoclonal antibodies are target-related toxicities, which could be dependent on the pharmacology. So it's underlying pharmacology, and I have some examples, and there are some examples in marketed antibody. Or it has to do with target expression, whether it's the dermatological toxicity, cardiotoxicity, or target-mediated infusion reactions. I try to highlight those. And there are more of a non-specific toxicities that has hypersensitivity reactions related to immunogenicity, which has been seen for all marketed antibodies, and regardless of whether I like to confess or not, even human antibodies, fully human antibodies do show immunogenicity. Unlike the small molecule drugs, the specific toxicities that's related to antibodies are primarily an extension of pharmacological response or target expression. So it is because of the exquisite specificity that antibodies have, by definition, you're excluding the non-specific binding or non-specific processes that you most probably see with the small molecules or active metabolites that's prevalent with small molecules. And markers of activity could be good predictors of the specific toxicities encountered with monoclonal antibodies. For example, if you look at the Avastin, bevacizumab, really toxicity related to antibody pharmacology, for example, anti-angiogenesis, is because angiogenesis is a process that not only impacts tumor growth or vascularization, but also it impacts on regular vascularization. So when you really put somebody on this drug, you have to be concerned, or you have to be aware that there's a possibility of gastrointestinal perforations, wound healing complications. So if you are contradicted for patients, for example, patients have gone recent surgery, it's contradicted to really use this drug, or an increased risk of hemorrhage. For example, Avastin was used in patients with solid tumor in their lungs, and what happened, the tumor starts shrinking very quickly, and because you couldn't vascularize, really, there was extensive bleeding in the hole that was there. It's a really hot area of discussion. Immunosuppressive antibodies, anti-TNF antibodies, natalizumab, and also rituximab, that's used for example, rheumatoid arthritis patient. You have serious infections and higher incidence of tuberculosis, and this primarily due to the mechanism that's underlying the safety of underlying the use of these molecules as being an anti-immunosuppressive. And PML, or progressive multifocal leukoencephalopathy, is what is seen with natalizumab and also with rituximab. And it is primarily due to the fact that it's underlying pharmacology of what these molecules do and what they're supposed to do, what's an exaggerated pharmacology. The dermatological toxicity is something that's been very, very nicely shown with cetuximab and panitumumab, both of them an anti-EGFR.